She built her body in the most controversial way possible. Radical honesty.
I gained 60 pounds with each pregnancy. I've had enhancement, but I've never had lipo, I've never had a tummy tuck. All of it's been through hard work.
In this podcast, Paula shares her philosophy that rejects almost everything modern fitness culture obsesses over.
Some people are really into measuring like macros. I don't measure calories, I don't talk about age, and I don't talk about weight. I noticed that you can develop muscles strategically. There's a difference between like a yoga body that's really strong and capable.
And what actually separates results from excuses isn't motivation at all.
I mean, we're all human beings. Showing up consistently every day, whether you feel like it or not, is everything. You have to stay disciplined. Motivation is a fickle friend.
Paula Lalanne, welcome to Vegas Voices. You are watching the Vegas Voices podcast. Today's guest is Paula Lalanne. Are you related to Jack Lalanne?
It's actually pronounced Lalanne. It's my ex-married name.
Oh.
But no, it's just a similarity. And then it's, of course, the fitness world. So I should say he's my grandfather.
You should. So she's a Pilates instructor, model, influencer, and the founder of Paula's Method, a hybrid training approach designed to sculpt the hourglass figure through precision, strength, and control. She's based here in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Vegas Voices.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, Paula, we always go back to the beginning with our guests.
Okay.
How did fitness and movement first become part of your life?
I mean, I'm from my dad's really athletic. He's like ridiculously gifted. I'm not gifted athletically like he is. He's like 82 and he's still golfing. I think he shot an 80 on his 80th birthday.
No way.
Yeah. And he could still do the clapping.
Below 10 handicap. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No, he's really, my mom is tiny and petite, and she always jokes I get athleticism from her, which I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But so I started out as a runner. I was a track person. I ran track. When I was 5, I was really fast. And then I had to start running longer distances because everybody else got faster. So I had to stay fast for a longer period of time. And that really taught me how to push through and develop a high pain threshold, develop a different mentality and mindset when it came to athleticism. And I think at such a young age, when you learn how to push through, which is why they always say sports are so good for kids, is because it really does teach you how to deal with adversity. It teaches you how to handle pain. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you consistency. And so I think developing those habits really young has been incredibly helpful for me now. And it's also just taught me that there's always a next level. You can always get to that next level, and we're never really done. We're all works in progress.
I like it.
Yeah.
I always take something from our guests. There's always a zinger that comes in. You just brought it in. We're always a work in progress.
I love that. It's so true. So
yes. True. Okay, so you've trained in Pilates, but your method is clearly something different.
Yes.
What problem were you trying to solve when you created the Paula's Method?
Well, so just taking it back a little bit further. So I ran track, and then in high school I started cheerleading. And so I started doing, like little dance routines and that. So I have a dance kind of endurance background to start. And then I got married. I was a stay-home mom forever. 3 kids, 3 C-sections, which is really where it started. Wow. I know. And I'm always super transparent with people. I've had enhancement. I've had breast enhancement, but I've never had lipo. I've never had a tummy tuck. I've never had anything done. All of it's been through hard work. And I gained 60 pounds with each pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
60 pounds. And I was on bed rest with 2.
That's a true testament to what's possible.
Oh, absolutely. Our bodies are reacting to what we tell it. And so after I had my first daughter, I was obviously, I really wanted to get back in shape. And I was doing crunches. I was doing like 200 crunches every night. I was working out and I wasn't getting the results. And I just thought, oh no, is this what happens? Like I had a baby. Am I just like stuck with this, different version of myself? And then And then eventually got back into shape. And I think it was just, I was super young. And so, my body, it took about a year, it bounced back. And then after my second daughter, I started taking barre classes. And I started noticing a different feeling of muscle reaction and response during the barre classes. So I would go home because I'm like, and I taught aerobics in college too. So I had that background. And so I went home and I was like practicing some of the things I was learning in class. And I was like, oh, wait, I can do this better. I can do this differently. So I taught myself and I was like my own guinea pig. And I noticed that I was actually able to get back to my original pre-baby shape before I'd even had my first daughter, after my second daughter, by using these different methods like the yoga block, ballet moves, pulsing, endurance, deep core engagement, deep breathing, the right kind of breathing. And so that was kind of how that started, but I didn't do anything with it for like 15 years because I was a stay-at-home mom, so.
Well, that's amazing because I looked through your social media, didn't find much of that story. So that is like a great selling point. It's a great way of getting people into your tribe because I see all these women wanting the tummy tuck and the, what do you call it? The mommy makeover and all this. And you're just telling us that it's possible to do it purely through exercise.
I mean, look, I don't hold judgment. I mean, I love getting stuff done. I'm not that person who's like, don't go into, obviously, but I think that it is 100% possible. And I think, for some people, there are certain cases where like, there's only so much you can do also. Like your skin does stretch and, we go through this metamorphosis and this change as women. I think it's really beautiful. I think it is so incredible what our bodies are capable of doing. We create a whole nother human. And that was a while ago that I did that as well. And then when I started teaching Pilates and I was getting certified and I was at these different studios around like yoga and, HIIT and all these different classes, I noticed that first of all, I think our bodies are capable of anything. Like I think if somebody can do something, then like I don't ever look at somebody doing something and maybe it's delusional. I don't think I can't do it. I'm like, oh, I can do that too. And I noticed that you can develop muscles strategically. So I noticed like there's a difference between like a yoga body that's really strong and core strong and capable. And then there's a ballerina. Like ballerinas have like, I think there's not a muscle in their body that doesn't work, right? They just like can spring in the air and they're flexible. And then you look at salsa dancers and they always have a smaller waist and bigger hips. And since I have this Latin background, I noticed that there was this hourglass figure to these salsa dancers, and it's all about the hip movement, but your abs drive your hips to move. So in all of my classes, I incorporate like a version of salsa dancing, even if it's not like exactly. I teach my students how to engage their core in a way that helps tighten their waist. And then I do a lot of like glute work all around to help shape it. So.
Seems like your class is very popular. I saw a little reel with tons of girls in True Fusion, right?
Yeah.
So when did you realize that Pilates, I know you're built on Pilates, but I think that you've incorporated a lot of other stuff. So when did you realize that Pilates wasn't enough?
After I started teaching Pilates, like I also think there's just so much noise on the internet. Like there are so many messages out there and I think it's easy. Like I've been victim to it. I get confused. Like I go online and I'm like, you have to have 1 gram of protein per desired pound of body weight, which I don't follow that philosophy. That's impossible. I could never eat that much protein in a day. And I think, believe me, I get it. Some people, that's like their way of doing things. And I completely understand that. But, I think that people or girls, boys, we're all influenced. We look online, we go, oh, this girl's doing this or that, and we think that's the way to do it. So I definitely fell into that trap at some points, thinking, okay, I need to be doing more cardio or I need to be doing more strength training. And then when I stopped and I kind of quieted the noise and just started listening to what my body told me it needed, I noticed I was able to get the results I wanted. And so I really try to focus with each client on like what they need, what works for them, because we're all different. Like we have different blood types, we have different backgrounds, we have different, some people have athletic like backgrounds and they have really great muscle development, like in their shoulders if they were swimmers or in their legs if they were runners. And so I try to use that as a foundation, and then fill in the gaps, and change, and help them adjust from there.
Totally got it.
Yeah.
So if you were to explain in very simple terms to somebody, what is Paula's method?
My method is a unique blend of, it's a Pilates foundation, and then building up from there. It's a unique blend of different modalities, including yoga training, strength training, HIIT. I love a good HIIT workout. And remind me to talk to you about pro athletes, because I've also trained some professional athletes, and that's a huge part of what I do. And the method is in reference to Paula's method. It's the Hourglass method. It's about making our waist smaller and our hips bigger. And that's not for everyone. Some girls don't want that, but I found that most do. So that's what I would say my method is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what does a typical session look like for you?
In terms of it being like a first time with somebody, or just a regular class?
Just let's start with that regular class.
A regular class, I almost always start all of my classes out, doesn't matter what level you are. I modify, but I start almost every class with the exact same warm-up, which is a warm-up that targets absolutely everything. It's about 10 minutes long, and then I go into a cardio burst to kind of get your heart rate going. And then I go into sculpting. Sometimes I start with the lower body, sometimes upper body. I almost always include I do a lot of abs and booty, and and then I throw in some like hip rotation, salsa dancing, just to have fun with it. People usually, after like 30 minutes, are like kind of let their guard down. At first, sometimes, especially the guys, they're like, I don't want to do that. But
you have guys in your class?
I have so many guys
girls.
in my class. Wow. I have so many men that take my classes. So because guys can they get V'd out, right? It's like also that tight waist. I mean, every human, I think, kind of wants that. That shape is actually just the best for performance. Like, if you're a skier, if you're a football player, if you're a basketball player, whatever. So.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So in that vein, what muscle groups or movement patterns do you think are most misunderstood when it comes to shaping the female, and I guess the male body too, now that we're speaking about it?
I think that what muscle patterns are misunderstood. I think that...
I mean, like you were doing 200 crunches at the beginning and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it just like... After a while, your body has memory, and so sometimes after you do, like if you're the kind of person who's like a painter, after a while your arm isn't going to get like this big from moving it up and down painting. It's eventually going to kind of like level out. So I think a lot of people plateau and they don't really know what to do with that. And with my method and in my classes, you can't plateau because it's constantly evolving, constantly changing. So in my class, I'll do glutes. And I'll hit every part of glutes to exhaustion. And then we'll go to abs, but then we'll go back to glutes after like 5 minutes of rest for glutes. And then we'll go to arms. And I call my class, I have these archetypes because I also do public speaking and wellness and corporate wellness. And I'm nutrition certified. So I talk about a lot of nutrition. Like my family is probably so glad I'm here talking to you about nutrition because I'm constantly just talking about food. Like I'm like, did you know that there's this and that in food? So I call the archetype for my workout the child, because when you're a kid and you're on the playground, you're climbing up and you're going down the slide and you're going on the monkey bars and you're chasing each other and you're moving every muscle in your body. And then as we get older, we start to isolate. People go to the gym and they're like doing these bicep curls and they're not moving like bicep, 2 muscles in your bicep, but they just are so hyper focused on these muscle groups instead of thinking about moving everything. So in my class, it's a very dynamic class where you'll move every single muscle in your body. Like you'll wake up the next day and you'll be like, I didn't even know I had muscles there because they hurt. So
that's very cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of fitness culture focuses on weight loss or punishment. Your brand feels different. What's your philosophy around body image?
I have a very, very, very strong opinion about this.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
After I had my third daughter, I got back into my original jeans. They did not have stretch in them. And I went to the doctor. She was 6 months old, and I stepped on the scale, and I weighed like 8 or 10 pounds more than I thought I was going to weigh when I got there. And I was so upset that day. And I told myself, I'm never getting on the scale again. And to this day, my daughter's in college. Every time I go to the doctor, I turn my back to the scale. I don't know how much I weigh. I don't weigh my clients. I do not believe in using that as a barometer. I think it's really unhealthy for women too, because we hold water weight. We fluctuate so much throughout the month. And then I feel like it just dictates mood. Some people like I get it. Some people are really into measuring like macros. I don't measure calories. I don't talk about age, and I don't talk about weight. And I think that has been my superpower, because I feel like when you acknowledge those things, it's really easy to go, oh, well, I'm getting old. Oh, I just turned this age. I'm getting older. Oh, well, I weigh this much. And I think it's such a negative narrative to have in our minds. So I'm extremely against weighing. I mean, I keep like, I haven't changed size. That's how I measure myself. I'm like, oh, okay, if these pants are feeling a little tight, but I'm pretty steady because I listen to my body. And like, I believe in intuitive eating and all of that. So we can get into that.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into some nutrition advice since you were speaking about it. So if you don't, what would be the general guidelines that you give people on nutrition?
So I start out with, so I was talking about the archetypes. I start out with people, and I just usually say for the first week that I'm working with you, all you're going to do is give up anything that if you can't pronounce the ingredients on the label, you're not having it. So you can, and if it has a mother, you can have as much as you want for the first week. It's really
Explain
simple.
that.
So
Mother?
if it has a mother, so a chicken has a mother, an egg has a mother, a cow has a mother, a strawberry plant has a mother plant. So plants, fruits, vegetables. What doesn't have a mother? Bread, right? It's made. I'm not against bread, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. But so if something has a mother, then you can have as much as you want. So if you go to the grocery store, and then phase 2 is if you can't pronounce the ingredients on a label, you can't.
And
have
that's
it.
like 90% of things in the grocery store.
It is. And if you go to Europe, you see people eating all the stuff we eat, and people don't have the same problems that we have with heart disease and diabetes and spiked blood sugar and all of those things. So the second thing is like I love chips, like potato chips. I love potato chips. I don't have them all the time, but I mean, I probably have them like every week. And so if you go to the grocery store and you grab a bag of chips and you see where it says potatoes, olive oil, sea salt, like 3 ingredients, I can pronounce all those things. That's okay. Then if you go over to another bag and it's got like all of these words you can't pronounce with like vowel, consonant, like those
Yeah, I know.
right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So then obviously you can't have that. But I feel like the potato chips that are healthy, like ish, are just as satisfying as the ones that are, full of preservatives and things our body can't identify. When you put it into your body doesn't know what it is. So it either takes longer to process or spikes your blood sugar. It doesn't identify it as a real food. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So mother,
Has a mother.
and if you can't pronounce, don't eat.
Yeah.
Have potato chips that have 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No,
You sure?
I mean, even ice cream. Like if
Okay.
you go to the grocery store, some brands of ice cream where it'll say like milk, cream, sugar, egg, like that's what's in ice cream. But then all of a sudden when you see all these other ingredients and these ice creams that, plus if it can stay good on the shelf for like 2 or 3 months, it can't be good. It has to have preservatives. So like if you go to Europe, they bake bread every day. The next day it's stale and then they use it, they cut it up and they, that's where you get all the like different iterations of salads where they do like, croutons and, like you see panna this or whatever made with day-old bread because it's not meant to stay. Like it's not meant to be kept for weeks on end in your refrigerator in your cupboard. So,
There's a big trend on sourdough bread
love
right now.
sourdough.
Is it good?
yeah, it's definitely, and it has prebiotics in it. I actually had sourdough last night. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I had it with olive oil with like really, the olive oil that's like really good for you with the polyphenols in it. And so, I'll tell you about that. I'll send you a link. It's
Awesome.
a great place. Yeah.
Awesome. So you've grown your method through Instagram, Zoom classes. What did you learn about content and consistency on your personal branding side?
Well, I mean, consistency is key. It really, I think we all know that. I always tell my students that motivation is a fickle friend. So you have to stay disciplined. I mean, I can't tell you, I even tell my students this all the time, like, there are days where I just don't want to work out. And if I weren't teaching the class, I probably wouldn't work out. But because I'm teaching, I show up and, it's
You
the
have to
discipline.
show up for others, right?
Yeah.
We do more for others than for ourselves, I guess.
Exactly. And if they're giving me an hour of their time, I owe it to them to give them my best hour and give them my best self, because I've got a class full of like 45, 50 people that are even on a waiting list to get into my class. And I just feel like they deserve the best workout possible. So, yeah.
That's crazy. What's the biggest class you've had? How many people?
Well, we're maxed out in the one room I teach in 45.
Okay.
But every now and then, like, people show up. I'm like, we can't not. So we'll be like packed in like sardines.
Have you ever done like a massive class, like in
I did a thing with Nike.
outdoor or something?
Yeah. In downtown Summerlin, like 250 people there. But it was a little bit hard because we didn't plan for the mic to like it. I had to hold it, and then I couldn't be like Warrior 2 with a microphone way over here. So, but yeah, I've done some bigger classes, and it's fun. And then I actually, my daughter was a basketball player in high school, was a really amazing basketball player, and so I used to do like warm-ups and teach Pilates to her team, and then like to the whole AAU group of girls. There would be like 100 girls.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was fun.
So let's go into building a personal brand, right? What type of posts or reels actually bring in those followers to you and those clients to you?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we're always, that's
right.
That's our game, right? As content creators.
Yeah. Well, so for me personally, I think one of the things that's also a little bit different about me, I think I'd mentioned to you earlier that I used to be a contributor on CBS, NBC, and Fox, and I used to was a beauty contributor. And
the local stations?
Yeah, local stations out in California. And because of that origin, I get a lot of beauty questions and nutrition questions, almost more than Pilates. Like, I feel like my students come to my class and they, like take my classes, but through DMs, a lot of girls text me and ask me, like, who cut your hair? So, like, I'm always with my hairdresser. I'm always collaborating with Abby, by the way. She's amazing. She's in Summerlin at Capelli. Just one of my, but you can't take her from me. It's already hard to get in with her. And I go to like, different places for skin treatments, and I'm really transparent. I just did the salmon, it's called the, RNFA. I know I'm getting that wrong. PDRN facial. So it's kind of like the newest version of this Korean glass skin. It's salmon sperm, and they inject it into your face.
Man,
so
you girls do the craziest things.
I know.
Okay, so salmon sperm. I never thought we'd go into this one. Keep going.
Oh my God, you should see the very funny conversations I've had with regards to this. But anyways, it worked really well. Okay. I will say that. It's moisturizing, and I did that. I did that at Novu Skin Med Spa. They're great. Jocelyn did it. And then I go to Jamie at Eye Candy. I've been seeing for like 4 years. So I'm always like sharing that with my followers and telling them like all the different things that I do. And so like I get almost as many questions about that stuff and nutrition as I do about Pilates. So it's like a lot of, so my content is really all over the place. And then I just started this Guiltless Guilty Pleasures eating out on my Instagram, because people are like, well, what do you order when you go out? And I'm always showing what I eat. And I'm like, people see me eating like pizza or having a glass of wine. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, every day I eat, but I know where the ingredients are sourced from. So if I go to a restaurant, I ask what kind of flour they use in their pizza or in their pasta. And if it's European flour, it's totally different. Your body can process it like sourdough bread. So I've been sharing that with my audience, which has been really helpful, because I'm surprised at what people don't know about nutrition. I always think that's interesting. So that's been my like latest endeavor.
Well, keep it simple, right? Just like you said. We just had Gio Morrow. He's the chef at Monzu.
I saw that podcast. I love Monzu. They do sourdough pizza. It's one of my favorite pizzas in the city.
It was really, really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Really, really good. We had dinner there, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and they have entertainment.
They do. I didn't get any entertainment that day, but they had good music playing.
And they have good cocktails. And they have, I'm trying to remember, oh my gosh, they have a fennel salad. That's amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
So how do you maintain keeping up in the brand space? How do you maintain a strong visual brand and still educating, not just posing online?
So how do I
How do you maintain a strong visual brand while still educating and not just posing?
I try to always share the why with people. Because I'm infinitely curious. Like, I'm that kind of person that will ask you a million questions because I genuinely am curious and want to know. And I feel like if I can educate my followers, and I even hate that word followers, like that just sounds so weird to me, but like my online friends, I guess I would call them.
It's a good way of putting it. Another
Right?
zinger right there. We
Doesn't
don't
it
have
feel
followers.
weird?
It's our online friends.
I'm like, don't follow me, I promise.
Just be my friend.
Exactly. I'll share what I know with you. So yeah, I feel like explaining the why about things is really, really important. And I'm really into quality. So if I receive, like, I'm sure you're the same way as an influencer, brands send you things. And I only share the stuff I really like. And people might think, oh, she likes a lot of stuff. But I'm really cautious with what I share with my with my online friends, because I don't want to like tell you to take this or that supplement and all of a sudden, it made me not feel good or something. So I think transparency is really important.
It's very cool. How long have you been at True Fusion? How has that environment influenced your growth as an instructor?
Oh gosh. It's interesting because I love it there. I really do. I love it. I get to see my same students every week. I see the same, familiar faces. And
which one do you go to?
I
the
teach
one in
at Summerlin. I sub at the other ones. They're just really far for me to get to. So I'm mostly in Summerlin. And then I have my private clients. So it's like there's, what's hard for me is that because I'm a mat Pilates instructor, I'm not just the person walking around saying, pelvic tilt, C curve, do this, do that. I do it with my students and I demonstrate. So it takes a lot out of me. So it's hard. I wish I could teach more because there's like so much energy in the tank kind of thing every day. Which I feel like that inhibits my personal goals a little bit because I don't really get to have my own workout time, which I wish I could do more. So when I have a day off, I just don't do anything.
So you're not working out while you're doing the class? You also
No, I am working.
Right?
That's my point is like I'm doing it with them. So if I teach 3 classes in a day, I've just worked out for 3 hours that day and I'm exhausted. So that's probably one of the challenges with it, especially in the hot room. If I'm not in the hot room, we have a room called the Rock Room, which is like this environment right here. So I can do multiple classes in that room and feel okay. But the hot room, you're sweating. It's great. I love it. My body craves it and needs it. And I think it's one of the best things we can do. But it's exhausting. And can't say where yet because it's not official, but I'm probably going to I'm partnering with another studio. And I'll be having my own space soon. And if not, just for pop-ups. And we'll have infrared light in that room.
Oh, wow.
Which will help with inflammation. And that will be very cool, next level. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you love the most about the Las Vegas fitness community?
Oh, how like kind of like die hard and what workers and how hard people work here and how into it they are and just eager to learn and they show up. My class, it's like crazy. You'll see people from like every background, every age group. There's like, it's just a packed class and just people in there just working their asses off, just like drenched in sweat. And I just love the intensity that the community brings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel Vegas is more like aesthetic driven, performance driven, wellness driven compared to other cities?
Well, I spent most of my adult life in the Bay Area. And I always tell people that the Bay Area is really a different animal in and of itself. Like, I went to college. I was a pre-med student, but I was like always the least educated person in the room. Like everyone there was like with a PhD or, double master's degree. It's just a very cultured, educated community in San Francisco. And also a lot of women start their families later. So you see smaller families, not always, but they're, typically smaller families. Then I was in LA, so I've been back and forth between Vegas and LA up until recently. So I'm just here in Vegas now. But I felt like LA was very aesthetically driven and trend driven with workouts. And here I feel like it's a hybrid. I feel like Vegas is very, it's aesthetically driven, but I mean, I think that that's okay. I think it's good. People want to look good and people want to feel good. And I think that it's also very wellness driven. Like, I've never seen so many Pilates and yoga studios and nail salons in a strip mall than any city I've lived in than here in Vegas, like even more than LA.
That's true. Gyms, right? There's like more gyms per capita. I think I've heard that statistic somewhere.
Yeah, I believe it. It's crazy. Like every strip mall has a nail salon and a yoga studio.
That's true.
I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I come to realize it, and there's tons of gyms. So, all right. So we're going to go into the rapid fire now.
Okay.
So Pilates or strength, if you had to pick one.
Oh gosh. Okay. Can I go off on this a little bit?
It's your podcast.
Online, I get it. I think strength training is so important. And it is right now being pushed. Like if you open your Instagram, everyone's talking about lifting, strength. But when you're doing Pilates, you are strength training and you're becoming more flexible and you're getting cardio because you're holding these poses longer when it's done right, kind of AKA my method.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would pick Pilates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. One exercise you think everyone underrates?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible at this game because I have to give you two.
It's
So
fine.
I'm going to go planking.
Okay.
When done properly, and bridging
Okay.
when done properly.
Which one's bridging? I know planking.
So bridging is just when you're, flat, when you're on your back and your legs are in Pilates stance, then you lift your hip bones and squeeze your glutes because there are different places you can place your feet where you get hamstring engagement. And then like the higher you bridge, the deeper glute core muscles you get to. So like doing that properly is like a game changer.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
What is the most common mistake women make in workouts?
Overtrain and too much cardio. I see it all the time. I mean, I was guilty of it too. They just think I'm going to burn calories, and that's just not going to get you there.
What about this trend for zone 2 training? I've been doing it and like doing 150 minutes a week and all that, but it's just like super light.
Oh,
it becomes
yeah. Like kind of like low impact.
cardio,
Cardio, isometric kind of stuff. Or are you using weights?
Just keep your heart rate at zone 2. Like
that's kind of like walking. Yeah. I mean, I think that's great. I think it's really important getting your steps in and all that. Yeah, I think it's great.
Cool beans. Reformer or mat?
Mat, all day long.
So you're not for the big machines. Crazy.
I mean, I like them. I think they have their place and their purpose. But I feel like a mat Pilates workout will get you everything you need, and you can like in a half hour too. A lot of my Zoom classes are only a half an hour long, and I feel like the mat you can like an octopus just go off in different little silos and do a little bit of HIIT and do a little bit of and standing work and. Oh, yeah. I just think it's the best workout in the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
One cue you repeat in almost every class.
I finish every class, whether it's a group class or with a private client, to take a moment to reflect and have gratitude. So I tell everyone to take a deep breath in for 4 seconds, think about something they feel good about, something they're grateful for. Hold that thought for 4 seconds and then just release any negativity or any doubt. So that's like my kind of like go-to way to finish. And I think it's so important to do that because how lucky are we to be able to move our bodies and to be able to do the things, have our bodies do the things we ask them to do. And then also just to think about something that you're feeling good about after you've just worked your body out. So that's my favorite way to finish a class.
Awesome. Completely unexpected. So let's go into your delving as a business owner and the entrepreneurship part of your life. At what time did you start thinking as a business owner and not just an instructor?
I'm sure many girls can relate to this when I got divorced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and I'm actually not officially divorced yet. We've been separated for like 9 years, long time.
Wow, that's a long time.
Whole separate story. So yeah, I mean, I'd been a stay-home mom. I was a pre-med student. So I immediately got married, became a mom. So I had zero business experience, zero anything. I mean, I guess it's underestimated what kind of experience you get being a mom and being room mom and, and doing all those things and organizational skills and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I had no money. I had to move back in with my parents. And so I started a blog because my girls were still young. I had 3 girls. And so I started this blog, and it was called 5 Ways to Fabulous, which is probably why that kind of pops up on the internet sometimes in conjunction with what I do.
Okay.
And so I would do everything in the number 5, like 5 lipsticks for fall, 5 ab exercises. And then that was when the TV stations called me and said, oh, come on and talk about your 5 workouts during the holidays or, 5 wines that are light in sugar, whatever. And so then I developed this following online. This is just back in the early days when Instagram first became a thing.
You were at the right time in the right place.
I was kind of, it was kind of definitely. And so I was like, well, I've got these followers. I should sell them something. And so I started my own line of eyelashes.
Followers or friends?
That's right. I have all these. Actually, you're so right, friends. And so I was like, oh, I should sell them something because these people, are watching what I'm doing. And so again, this pre-med background, the nerd in me, like kind of like I do in Pilates now, like whenever I'm teaching something, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this muscle. So I call it out and I tell people, okay, are you feeling this in your obliques? Okay, now we're rotating 45 degrees right. And I really like hyper explain what I'm doing in my Pilates class. So it was kind of the same thing with my eyelashes. I would look at people's faces and I'm like, okay, well, this girl would look prettier with lashes that went up in the center because her eyes are shaped this way. Or this girl would look prettier if her eyelashes went out more on the ends, like a cat eye, based on different shaped eyes. And so I built this model around helping people pick out the right lashes for their eye shape, I did pop-ups, and that was back when pop-ups weren't really a thing.
Wow.
The business did great. I mean, it paid for itself. It got me a car, it was, and then that was around the time where I had started modeling. So I was traveling to LA and I was going, I'd go to a photo shoot and then I'd do a pop-up. I'd like piggyback, this business together. And then COVID hit. So, and that was around the time when I met my fiance. So I ended up moving in with him in LA, which is what brought me, pardon me?
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thanks. So, yeah, I'm married and engaged. It's kind of a joke right now, but everyone's friends. I mean, like I'm friends with my ex. It's just kind of procedural stuff and it's good. But anyway, so that's what brought me to LA. So, and that was when I got certified in Pilates. And then, what was your question? Why am I going into this like deep dive?
Question is like, when did you start
the entrepreneurial,
thinking as a business owner, right?
As a business owner, yeah.
Yes.
So it was right before then. And I did everything on my own. I mean, I was putting my labels on my stickers on my, boxes. And it was like boots on the ground.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention, right? You had to remake yourself. And it seems that you have been reinventing yourself consistently for the past few years, just on this story that you've told me. Mm-hmm. So do you already have systems in place for Paula's method to scale beyond your time? Or is it just a class that you just go in and...
No, it is. I'm taking, I've got a waiting list right now for privates.
Oh, wow.
But I am in January looking to do more group, kind of semi-privates online.
Okay.
And I really like doing what I call pods. I don't know if that's the right word for it. It's just like my word, where let's say you are like, oh, I love Paula's class. I want to do this with my friends. So then you would grab 2 or 3 friends and you guys could either all meet at your house and then Zoom with me.
Okay.
And then kind of also split the cost, which is kind of nice, for people to do, but also have that support structure. Or I could come to you if it's close enough. and or Zoom in separately, but no one misses a workout. So if there's 4 girls, then if somebody can't make it, 3 could still be there or bring another, just.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it just feels like at least I can work with more people. And then I'm trying really hard to not do everything with people. And of course you can't. Like you have to, stop and look at someone's form and be like, okay, no, we need to tuck more or whatever. Point your toe, flex your foot, that kind of stuff. So
everything's possible now with Zoom. It's
so true. Yeah. It's just that it's harder because you can only look at so many people on a screen. I found that the max is like 5 to really be able to give the attention needed. Because if it's just like all these tiny little boxes I really can't see, unless people are like just there and it's not like a really like strict form class.
Right.
And I trust, like say they've been with me for a lot of classes and I know their form's good enough, then it's okay to do more people. But when someone is just starting out to really critique, because form is literally the kind of the whole philosophy behind my method. It's like why I'm teaching you how to do a sit-up and do 10 reps instead of 20 and get better results with like just the little like nuances.
Yeah, form over function, right? Or function over form. What would that be? Anyways, what do most people underestimate about building a personal brand in fitness?
Oh God, how much work. Just the physical work that it takes and pushing through the dry spells, pushing through the lack of desire, pushing through the lack of motivation. I mean, we're all human beings. We're not all like on and happy and perfect all the time. And so just showing up consistently every day, whether you feel like it or not, is everything.
It's very funny how it seems that human beings like you are like perfect in every single way, but we all suffer the same struggles, don't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am like so far from perfect. It's like, I do say though, I'm very self-aware of my shortcomings, but I do feel like this one niche, the reason why I think it's been so successful for me is just because I can really look at somebody and figure out what it is they need. Like I worked with a professional boxer, and I've never been to a boxing match in my entire life.
Wow.
So I circuitously started working with him, and I noticed I started watching like is it called practice? Not practice, right? I should know this.
Sparring.
Sparring.
I think that's what boxers sparring, yeah.
So I was like noticing his footwork, and I'm like, oh, well, that's like salsa dancing. So he needs to have fast footwork because that's how you get away, right? And then you're bobbing and weaving. Like that looks like a dance move, what I'm doing, but it's also what a boxer does. So I'm like, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling my obliques engaged. I'm feeling my core engaged. Oh, wait, now my quads are having to hold me in this position for a long time. Oh, I'm stepping back on my heels. I need posterior engagement. So, and I need my shoulders need to be strong and have a lot of endurance because my arms are up. And so I feel like that's like a little bit of my superpower is being able to look at like an athlete and go, okay, what do you need to train? And I've worked with a couple, like one of my favorite athletes that I've been working with for many years is a professional basketball player in Europe. And so my daughter's 6 feet tall. I always brag about my kids.
And you're tall, and she must be.
She's huge. She's tall, and it's so funny because when she's sitting down, we look like we're the same height, and she's all legs. And so, which in and of itself, has its own issues because, like, if she's doing Pilates moves and having to have her legs up, it hurts her lower back. So, like, how do I adjust for that? But I noticed when she was playing basketball in high school, her glutes were getting like really like high. Like, well, every girl wants good glutes, right? Like, it's like that was not a thing when I was growing up, and now that's all people talk about. So I was like, oh wait, she's developing these naturally, and I'm like, oh, it's the jumping, but it's not just the jumping; it's the way she was jumping. So it was this like holding down low and then springing up and needing your glutes to power you to get up high. And so I started adding that move to my classes so that, for girls to like engage their glutes. And, with the boxer, adding salsa dancing. And then with this other athlete, with this basketball player that I'm working with. He's a lead scorer in Poland, by the way. He's incredible. He's one of my favorite people. And his brother is a football player at UNLV, and I train both of them. And I have a trampoline method that I'm also launching this next year, possibly in my own space. And it's not like what you see, though. I promise you, nothing you've seen on the internet compares to what I do. Because you see people like jumping or running, you know, for like a minute at a time. But I use like the trampoline. It's fun. I use it as a power launch pad. I use it for upper body. Like I have them put their, like I can't do what I have my male athletes do because I don't have the physical strength to do it, but they'll put their hands on the trampoline and like chatter their hands. And it like burns your arms out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then like I've had, you know, these football players, you know how football players chatter?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're doing it on a trampoline, first of all, you have to find a big enough trampoline that can hold that much weight because that's been an issue for me in the past because these guys are huge. And so you have to like, you know, you're chattering. And so you get muscle memory from chattering. So the fast twitch muscle can be trained faster and better on a trampoline than it can be on the ground. And then I do it in a way where it kind of spikes your heart rate up. Like you were talking about zone 2, so we'll get your heart rate up high. Then I'll take you into a long hold series for endurance training, but your heart rate's still up here, but now you're doing something completely still and stationary. So it's this, and I'm trying to maximize the time and get their endurance up. And I remember he was saying that when he went to Poland and he was in practice, he's like, I didn't even get tired when I was, and he goes, I was the only one on the team who wasn't tired because it just took his heart rate to another level. It took his endurance to another level. So, yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
You seem to be around and helping all these guys. That would be completely unexpected.
You know what? That's what my fiance, he always jokes about it because he says that, you know, I'll walk in the room and these guys look at me and it happens. It's so funny. They'll look at me and they'll be like, oh my God, like, how is this girl going to help me?
What are you going to teach me?
What are you going to teach me? Because all their trainers are like these buff guys that are all ripped and cut. And, you know, I don't even think I look that ripped and cut for like a trainer. I'm not like, I don't think I look like like as athletic, I guess, maybe, you know, as I am. And it ends up great. Like they're all my friends and, you know, sometimes they come over the house, like they came over for my daughter's graduation, these guys do, and they just like become family members.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for all that share.
Yeah.
So where do you want Paula's method to be in 3 to 5 years?
I want it to be accessible to everybody. I want to be able to help everybody. I want to take the stigma away from working out, from nutrition. I want for people to love the body that they have and develop the best version of that body they have because we all have different bodies. And I think that, I mean, I've been around enough to see, you know, things go for especially for women. It's like, you know, it goes from, you know, having to look one way to having to look another way to another way. And I think that women need to just be the best version of themselves and stop trying to fit into this box that they're not in. So I really want my method to help them achieve the best version of themselves. But I want for my method to also help them feel the best because, like, as a mom, when my girls were younger, I didn't ever want to be able to like not be able to do anything with my kids. Like if they wanted to go skiing, if my daughter needed help with basketball, if they wanted to go for a bike ride, I wanted to be able to do everything with them always. And I was able to do that.
That's
and
a good motivation point.
Right? I think that, you know, and I think it's underestimated how much fun you can have with your kids when you're in really good shape. So,
wow. So inspiring the moms out there.
Yeah.
So are we talking digital programs, certifications, studios, collaborations?
That's it.
How do you see that happening?
I see. Well, right now I'm kind of working on my own certification process for my modality on the trampoline. The brick and mortar thing, I have to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I feel like that's probably in my future, but I need to figure that out because for me, being happy and at peace and rested is really important. And I rarely see a gym owner that's rested and not like, you know, I mean, look, if people don't show up at 5 o'clock in the morning to teach a class and you're the gym owner, you have to jump in your car and go there and do a class. And like, it's such a demanding thing. So I'm looking at a more remote version of that, you know, something more online, pop-ups. I'm definitely interested in doing big pop-ups. I love that. And then creating a community, because I think that women need support from each other. So I always finish my classes or my pop-ups with Q&A. And I let people ask me anything they want, and I'm completely honest with them. And so you'd be surprised.
What's the weirdest question you've gotten on a Q&A? I want to know.
The weirdest, well, I don't think I should say the weirdest question. It's been the
Whatever
privacy
you want.
with girls.
Give me a good highlight.
Well, I mean, I get a lot of like, you know, I get like, you know, like what size are my implants?
Okay.
Like how do you teach with them? You know, and so I'm like pretty easily just a nice tight sports bra. Yeah, so I've gotten a fair amount of questions, but it's a valid question too, because, you know, girls do want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten asked, you know, like, have you ever had a tummy tuck? You know, those kinds of things, which is why I just came out and said, I'm like, no, I haven't. And to be honest with you, before I started teaching Pilates, I mean, not that I probably even needed one, I might have done it just because it's like, you know, you see everyone doing it. And I think that that's where you don't realize how fast your body can respond. I'm talking like in a month, you can get great results. And I don't think people realize how easy it is and how much little effort it takes. People think it takes so much effort. It's just like a concentrated like 15, 20 minutes for sure every day. You could get really into a good place with your body.
Wow. That's a great marketing angle. But I guess these days a lot of people don't want to put the work, right? You gotta put the work in.
I know. That's one of my, I mean, like, I even put out there that, you know, I'm trying to start a program right now to help Ozempic patients because it really does worry me. Like when I read statistics and I see it and I get it, some people need it. I totally understand. Whether you need it or some people are using it to lose 5-10 pounds, like people can do whatever they want. But you should be aware that if you don't maintain muscle while you're going through this, your metabolism is going to drop because muscle is what maintains metabolism. So I've been really, and even like you've heard of Ozempic face, like, you know,
No.
people like, okay, so we have muscle in our face.
Okay,
we have muscle everywhere.
So then you lose muscle in the face?
So you lose muscle in your face.
Got it.
So it's really important also to do facial exercises. You know, you have to keep those muscles alive. It's like if you're not using a part of your body, your brain will get a signal, I don't need that part of my body anymore. So
there's caveats to this. You have to do strength training. You have to do something to keep that muscle when you're doing those type of things.
Yeah.
Wow. If someone feels disconnected from their body right now, what's the first step you would tell them to take?
Learning different breathing modalities. Train yourself. There's one breathing pattern that I use at the end of almost every class, and I tell my students, if you're having trouble falling asleep, this is a really good one. So you're inhaling for 7 seconds, holding for 4, exhaling for 8. That's actually a decent amount of time, 7 seconds. It's not.
It is a bunch.
Yeah, 4 is way easier. You can flip it around and you can do inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8.
Okay.
But a version of that and some iteration of that, I would say you would be shocked at the level of core engagement you can get. Like I always teach this breathing pattern to all my students. It's kind of technically like intercostal breathing, Pilates breathing, where you inhale through your nose, and then if you're laying down flat on the ground and you exhale, pretend like you're blowing out candles on the ceiling, and you'll notice that your spine immediately becomes completely flush and in contact with the ground, with your mat, with your bed, wherever you're doing this. And then draw your rib cage in and you'll feel that core connection. And that's better than doing 10 crunches, you know, doing that for a few minutes. So that's absolutely what I would tell people to do, is just kind of wake your muscles up and walk. You know, just walking and that breathing will get people so much further.
Thank you for the great advice.
Yeah.
And finally, what does strength mean to you today compared to when you first started?
That's a great question. So I have a funny story for you. When you have to audition at True Fusion. And most places out here, I mean, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of talent, right? There's all these performers out here. So, you know, a lot of the girls that I teach with and guys I teach with are performers. And so when I was getting certified, when I was auditioning, I had to be able to do 3 real push-ups. She was like, because you do push-ups in class. So I could only do them on my knees. And I remember the person who was overseeing the audition, she's like, Paula, you need to at least be able to do 3 real push-ups. And I couldn't even do 3 real push-ups when I first started teaching. And I just had these like long, skinny arms and I couldn't do it. And it now, I mean, so strength to me back then was just like needing to be able to execute these moves. And now I can execute those moves, but now it's so much more about the mental. It's about pushing through on those days when you don't want to, or pushing past what you think you can do. I always tell my students, like, just 10 seconds at a time. Don't think about what we're doing beyond 10 seconds, give it your all. And then we can hit another 10 seconds. And before you know it, you've finished a class. So.
Well, Paula, thank you. There's a lot of layers to you. There's a lot of inspiration. I am certainly inspired.
Thank
you. I thank you for being a biggest voice and for being in the show.
Thank you for having me. I genuinely appreciate this. And I really love what you're doing for the community. And I love that you're helping people tell their stories, because I feel like when people are able to share their story, somebody can connect with a part of it. And I think I connect with people through podcasts like this. So thank you.
Awesome, Paula. How can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Paula's Method. So my name, Method.
All right.
That's the best way, I guess. I'm on TikTok. TikTok. It's like, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Instagram's easier. I feel like I'm just learning TikTok. It's like
everybody knows here we hate TikTok with a passion. Yes, I am a marketer.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the platform that I hate the most.
Oh, thank you. I thought I was the only one.
So, and we make no qualms about it. And I think we don't get that many views on TikTok because I always say that I hate TikTok. So.
I know. It's like, it's so confusing. Instagram, at least you can just like picture post.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easy.
Cool. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.